Back gang, it's Deltia from DeltiaGaming.com doing another Q&A. So we're going to answer some questions about ESO in general and maybe some questions about my life. So if you're interested, let's talk. Deltia, what we got? So first question up is, dude, what do you know about the big ESO Twitch talked about? David asked. So you look in here and this is the tweet. Discover the next chapter of Elder Scrolls Online. Tune in to Bethesda today. So what I'm going to do is have a viewing party. We're going to start a half an hour before this starts, so about 12:30 Central Standard Time. If you guys want to join me on stream, I'll have that link in the description and we can look live at what's happening. So what do I think is going to come into the game? Well, I think it's going to be Vvardenfell, right? Which we talked about earlier. And that's going to be what I imagine would be a trial and questing. So I don't expect there to be some huge new system like Battlegrounds or something else we haven't seen. So that's what I'm hoping for, is there's something that we don't know that's huge, that's sandbox, that allows us to do something else. What I think it'll be is another trial and more questing. So am I excited about that? Well, you guys know trials aren't my thing. Not really excited about that. But for a part of the game, part of the community, a new trial, especially one that's really hard, will be really good for the game. Questing. I did like Morrowind, my favorite Elder Scrolls game of all time. So the questing I'm actually really excited about. But the longevity of this DLC, if those are the two things that are implemented, will be very, very short. So overall, my hype is a little bit lower than usual, but hopefully, something else is coming out in this year that will increase that. So either way, come view it live and let's see what happens. Next question up comes from MPLS Lamb. So if you were to create a DPS character or existing character for endgame trials, what would you play? So you're looking for something that's a DPS powerhouse that can self-heal in emergencies. Well, really magic is where it's at in trials from what I'm told. Remember that I'm not super trial hero awesome DPS guy. That's not what I'm good at. Magic sorc has been good forever. And it has a little weak points here and there, but people could always do good with it. It has range. It has huge damage shields. It can off-heal with the resto staff, but if you're looking for something that is really fun to play, has a lot of range, great survivability, that's been good now and basically will be good forever, I would honestly recommend a magic sorc. So what I was worried about in this patch was the haunting curse change, but they reverted it back. So now it blows up at 3.5 seconds and another explosion later on. That's essentially a buff. So if you like the magic sorc in previous patches, it's going to be just as good, just as powerful, just as strong in both PvE and PvP. If you want something even simpler, go Magic Templar. Very, very simple. And once the beam starts hitting at about 40%, maybe 30%, it's a really easy, simple rotation. Just depends on how good you are with your rotation. Here's a PvP related question. Can't you counter Destruction Staff Ultimate with a sorc negate magic ultimate? Yes and no. There's two different types of the Destruction Staff ulti. Storm, the one that follows you, and Rage, the one that you set on the ground, that's ground-based. So one, the ground-based one you can counter, but Storm, the one almost every PvPer takes, you cannot. So that's why people take that ultimate, because they can just move and do this massive amount of damage to you, and it can't be negated. How does one counter such a awesome tool? You need to focus on your major and minor buff system. What I mean by that is damage reduction. So Nova is a massive damage reduction tool that you can use, and now that can be negated, but if you put it down with the negate, it's going to be really strong when everyone charges in with those destros. You can also use Restoration Staff Ultimate. That gives major protection. Veil of Blades. That gives major protection. And major protection and the damage reduction applied from Nova will stack on top of each other. Same thing with Remembrance, the Templar Healing Ultimate. That damage reduction too. So you want to have as much damage reduction out as you possibly can. Having a Dragon Knight in there using Choking Talons to get minor maim. Now you're reducing someone's damage by 30, 40, even 50%. So the Destruction Staff ultis won't kill you just instantly quick. Also remember that you can't block the damage. So if you're sitting there holding block, you're just burning through your stamina. What you need to do is use Harness Magic, heal through it, get out, and use those major and minor buffs to your advantage. Destruction Staff's ulti is really good. If you time it well, it just has a massive radius. You CC, lock people in there with immobilizes. It's really hard to counter. But if you're in a coordinated group, you can pre-barrier, you can use a resto ult, Veil of Blades, Nova, those sorts of things, and have a good defense against them. Next question up. What's your take on Stam Sorc? Most people in the game will kick you when they say you're a Stam Sorc and they say it's not good. I completely disagree with this. I met a guy, TV, you know who I'm talking about, on PS4 EU, and he's just an absolute stud. Has an incredible Stam Sorc build that is extremely powerful. That's beat Vet Maw of Lorcage, so it's capable. Every class is capable of doing it, and I'd rate the Stam Sorc up there. Is it a Dragon Knight? No. What you need for a awesome tanking build: resources, survivability, and group utility. The Stam Sorc has all that. Well, I think the coolest thing that the Stam Sorc has to offer that other classes don't is Dark Deal. So Dark Conversion, basically turning in your resources for another resource. This goes really good with the Sword and Board Ultimate because it keeps your block up. So what you can do is pop that Sword and Board Ultimate, use this to basically get all your stamina back, and then boom, you're ready to go again. You're basically a tower of tanking as a Stam Sorc. You have a massive stat pool, so you can heal very well. You can heal others with Vigor or Echoing Vigor in a trial. And I really think people just say Dragon Knight is the only tank, and that's what you need to do. Yes, Dragon Knights are very good, and if you're in the top competitive trials group, you probably want a Dragon Knight. But for everything else in the game, Stam Sorc, Magic Nightblade, Stam Templar, anything can tank just fine. Remember the basics to tanking, the 3 abilities everyone should have: Heroic Slash, Pierce Armor, Absorb Magic, or Defensive Stance. As long as you're taunting stuff, you can keep yourself alive, survive when you shouldn't, make sure everything is aggroed, and you're providing some group utility. That's what makes a good tank, not so much the class. Alright, so we got some Deltia motivation questions next. Blackjack, how do you feel about ESO dying off in 2017, and what will you do after it? Well, first of all, I don't think ESO is dying off at all. I think it's actually have a really strong community, a really strong player base, and it's really because of consoles. If I go on PC and I'm playing on NA or EU, the population is nothing in comparison to consoles. I'm just going to be honest with you. So while I love playing PC, I love doing that, there is a humongous population for this game because so many players can access it. So truthfully, I don't think it's going to die. And it has been getting stronger for a while. Is it a perfect game? Absolutely not. Do I get tired of it sometimes? Yes. But I always come back, and it's because of the people that play it. So that answers the question, ESO is not going to be around forever, what I'm going to do. Well, this year, really my main focus is on getting in shape. I've made a lot of excuses the last about 3 years, and I quit working out, and I was basically solid for about 10 years. And I just made excuses. I got a kid coming, I got a job, I got a business, I got this, I got that. And, you know, one day turned into a month, that turned into 3 years, and now I'm completely out of shape. So the tipping point for me was basically getting sick and getting the flu and feeling like I was going to die. And I never have got that sick in my entire life. And I realized it was my eating habits and the lack of exercise. And I said, nope, I'm going to teach my son the important value of exercising and not just talk about it, but do it. So ultimately, I'm taking this year to work out basically 2-3 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, and getting in shape, and then showing people maybe a year down the road how I did it, if I'm successful. So ultimately, what I want to do is things other than gaming. I still want to keep doing gaming, but I want to open up my horizons and do something else that, you know, contributes to the world. Because my goal in life is basically to leave this place better than what it was when I came in. So I can share information about a game, help you guys relax and enjoy your hobby. But I can share information and motivate people to get in shape or accomplish their goals. Great. That's what's really important to me in life. And so for 2017, that's my goal. All right, Nathan asked, Deltia, did I read correctly that you were in the Army? If so, what was your MOS? So for people that don't know, MOS is basically your job. Yes, I was in the Army. I was in the Army for 3 years, 2002 to 2005. I was 17 years old when I joined, and I got out when I was 20. I was 11B, so I was infantry. Infantry is not easy. It was very hard. And I went to Iraq in 2003, 2004, did incredibly crazy, difficult stuff. And I had a hard time when it came back to civilian life. I really did. Spent years and years and years trying to get my life together. I was featured in a magazine, Omaha Magazine, which I'll link in here, that kind of shows my life story and talks about, you know, my struggles with alcoholism, depression, you know, even being suicidal at one point. So it's something I don't really share on this channel because I think it's not related, but that's kind of where my motivation and my talks come from, is being at such a deep, dark place and coming up from that, you realize how good we really have it. So the message of this thing is just realize that someone always has it worse than you do. I mean, if you look at Stephen Hawking, right? He was supposed to die, I don't know, what, 30 years ago? He's sitting crippled up in a chair, can't even talk, drooling on himself, but look at all the contributions he's made to our society. Look at all the people's lives that he's touched. That's one example of someone that had it way worse than I do. And look at what he's accomplishing. So in 2017, stop the excuses, stop the bullcrap. If you want to accomplish something in a game, outside of a game, you want to get back in shape, you want to be #1 in the world at VMA, now is the time to do it. Remember, you attract in your life what you think about. Constantly think about what you want, not what you don't want. I want to get in shape. Imagine that awesome body that you have. I do a little exercise every day where I sit down and I just think about what I want for 4 minutes listening to music, because you're going to attract those things in your life. It's kind of like gravity. So think about what you want, not what you don't want, and continue to move forward to those things every single day. Remember, accomplishing something hard is way more fulfilling than getting something handed to you. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.